mindset actually impact your health and wellness journey. People with positive mindsets are 30% more likely to live longer and have better heart health, according to Harvard. Also, a growth mindset with growth mindsets, individuals that have these things are about 50% more likely to achieve long-term health goals, according to Stanford University. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I hold 7 degrees in my field, all in the natural healthcare space. I like to say that I went to school so you don't have to. But first, if you're interested in having more of a holistic mindset for the month of January, we do have an online mastery community group. We're really focusing and digging in on your mindset. And so we'll have a healthy eating challenge in there as well as daily meditations. Let's talk about the power of belief. There's 2 types of mindset. There's a fixed mindset, which says, I'll never be healthy no matter what I do. And a lot of times that can come from powerlessness, disappointment, frustration, not really having the answers, but needing them. But then you also have a growth mindset that says, I'm learning to make choices every day. I'm getting closer and closer to health. My body's getting, healthier and healthier. Those are all growth mindset. And a lot of times it does, because remember, we're just focused around our mindset. We haven't quite gotten into our emotions yet. We'll get into that next month. But for right now, we're just going to focus on our mind, our thoughts, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind. Also, definitely check out our webinar. We have 2 webinars this month, a live webinar where we are going to get all into the nitty gritty of mindset, but also too, we have an evergreen webinar as well where we talk specifically more about health tracking and linking that body, mind, spirit together. So we want to approach these things with a growth mindset. I know that can be hard, especially if you've had a lot of setbacks, disappointments, etc. So I know even for myself, being in this field for so long and not always achieving the goals that I want to, definitely achieving many, but not always achieving the goals, it really takes the breath out of you and you can get frustrated and it can be really difficult. And so sometimes it can be challenging to shift from that very negative fixed mindset, like nothing's going to get better, into more of that observing mindset, that growth mindset where you go, you know what? This is where I am in the moment, but this is not my story. I'm going to keep. With that being said, we want to shift our self-talk. So negative statements. So the first thing is really building that consciousness. Do I have a fixed mindset? Do I have a growth mindset? And then if you find you have more of a fixed mindset, that's where you're going to start to replace these negative statements with positive ones. So instead of saying things like, I can't stick to this, or this is hard, we want to say things like, I'm improving my habits step by step, or this is getting easier and easier. Again, it may be conflicting, but eventually, if you continue to affirm this over and over and over again, your mindset will shift and you'll begin to see more opportunities that are available. Again, we get deeper into this in the webinar, but I just wanted to kind of go through some of these components. We get really nitty gritty into how the conscious mind works, how the subconscious mind works, and really breaking it down for you. The next thing is visualizing your success. So I love Neville Goddard's take on this law of assumption and living in the end. I do this daily, several times a day. I often do it with my husband as well because we're building together as partners. And so we imagine ourselves achieving our goals, right? We already, in our mind, we visualize it, we meditate on it, we feel it in our bodies. And why? Because that assumption, right, is creating that electricity that now different actions are going to happen. So now I find that I'm more motivated. I find that, I have more creative ideas, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. I definitely, if I'm visualizing, especially when I meditate first thing in the morning, it sets the tone and sets the intention for my day to really make sure that I accomplish the things that I'm going to accomplish. So it's almost like, let's say if you want to run a 5K, right? So you'd want to visualize yourself running the 5K. You want to see yourself training. You want to go through all of the feelings of running. And if you're not a runner, the pain of running and all of that kind of stuff. But really focusing on crossing that finish line, right? And what happens with that is once you start to feel that motivation really starts to come based off of those affirmations. Now your predominant thoughts and your focuses is going to be, how can I accomplish this result, right? So your mind is going to now naturally just look for different opportunities for you, different shortcuts, as long as you keep that growth mindset going. Now, it's not always, peaches and cream and roses. You definitely can have setbacks, but you want to learn from these setbacks. So treat your challenges or your failures as opportunities. I've learned in different seminars and programs, failure is just nothing but a breakdown in performance. This was so hard for me to come by, especially if you felt overly responsible or hyper parentified. It can really make a lot of internal conflicts. But if you start to treat your challenges or your failures merely as opportunities or lessons, or just really acknowledging yourself for the effort that you're making, that can really help propel you forward. So as an example, instead of saying, I missed a workout, it's to say, I'll get back to it tomorrow, or I'll make it up another day. Those kinds of conversations, really not necessarily to excuse, right? Because there's definitely layers to this when you can get in denial and you're avoiding, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when you don't complete something and what that mental conversation is. Because remember, we're talking about mindset. So it's all about what you're making those things mean. Remember, we are humans. We only have 168 hours in one day. I know that seems like a lot, or excuse me, in a week. I know that seems like a lot. I wish we had that in a day, but we only have 24 hours in a day. And we have a lot of competing demands, which is why I often recommend people to structure and schedule their time. If you do not tell your time what to do, it is going to get away from you, inevitably so. And there are a lot of competing distractions for your attention, just with social media alone, with family members, with work commitments, all sorts of things can easily take you off track. So when you do have a setback, really acknowledging yourself for the effort that you're making, but not dwelling in, oh, I didn't do it well, etc. When you get into that negative thinking. Again, that's fixed thinking. When you start to think, I'm powerless, I can't do anything, this is never going to work, that's all that fixed mindset showing up. And so we want to redirect it. I always like to say we want to put our mind on a leash and not let it run around the block. With that being said, we want to surround ourselves with positivity. That looks like all kinds of different things for different people. I would say if you're really new to this type of work, in terms of if you're trying to get out of that fixed negative mindset into a more growth positive mindset, really eliminating or at least minimizing exposure to people, places, situations, and circumstances and events that are going to trigger any sort of negativity. Now, I'm not saying, put your head in the sand and pretend like nothing exists, but rather, how you perceive something or how you are engaging with people. Not everyone is going to be your supporter and your cheerleader, even if they are in your close circle. So definitely make sure that you keep yourself around supportive, encouraging people. Don't be afraid to let those people go if they are not in your corner. Also, too, making sure that not even just with people, but also too, if there are places that you go to, let's say you go to a coffee shop that you went to with an ex and you had a fight there. That's probably not going to be the greatest place for you to go to, just because your nervous system is going to go right back there. Your mindset's going to go right back there to that fight, and you're going to relive that fight. So maybe while you're really building your growth mindset muscle, maybe avoiding those places, not that you can't always go there, but that they can definitely slow you down when you're trying to shift from more of that fixed mindset into that growth mindset. Also, things you consume, things you watch, all of those things are messages for your mind, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind to kind of eat up with, right? Or chew on, rather. And so we want to make sure that the things that we're putting in are going to reinforce the things that we want. So for instance, you want to surround yourself with people. So we have a holistic health community. You can attend webinars like our Transforming Health Through Our Mindset, as a way to really be around other people. I know for me, when I wanted to bond and connect with friends, I would always do activities, and eventually doing different activities of various different things, whether it's hiking or biking or rock climbing or whatever the activity is, then I can connect with other like-minded people who are connected with positive things, right? Rather than, let's say, drinking buddies or partying friends. When you are in more of a growth mindset and you're trying to accomplish a goal, you really want to leave those distractions behind, because they inevitably are going to take you off path. So If you enjoy my content, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also click the links below if you're interested in checking out our holistic community. This month, we are going in a deep dive into mindset. So all of our content this month will be all around having a holistic mindset. So definitely check this out, as well as any of our YouTube or TikTok lives that we'll be hosting this month, all throughout the week. So definitely lots of great positive content for you to consume and really get your mindset where it needs to be for you to grow.